Welcome back to Modern 9 to 5, where we talk about work, life, work, and just how to get away with the matrix. Today, we have a very special guest, Dr. Herman, and who might be one of the most non-9 to 5 guests that we ever had. He worked with lots of companies in lots of different fields, such as Fortune 100s, lots of artists, different type of fields, again, under one philosophy, holistic vision. And welcome back. I'm not welcome back, but it's good to have you here, Dr. Herman.
Good to be here. Thank you.
To be honest, first when you told us that you worked with the CIA and DARPA, which is Defense Advanced Projects Research Agency, we thought that you were joking, but you still ended up here in Georgia.
Yeah.
And how is it for you? And tell us about yourself.
Sure. Just to be clear here, what you said is correct, but I just want to be very clear. I am a contractor that works with contracting entities that work with them. So I don't work with them directly. The contractors of CIA, DARPA, FBI, Secret Service, they do various work with those entities, and they say, hey, we need this information from Dr. Herman, and I work with them directly. So ultimately, I work with them in the end.
Right. That's really interesting. And how did you end up here?
In Tbilisi specifically?
Yes.
Well,
I think we should go back. Just tell us your story, going back,
the 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Sure.
What made you what you are today, and what was the path? Cut it short if you want, but if you want to speak, anything specific, that's up to you. But just walk us through your life, basically.
Okay. So I am a lifelong nerd. I'm the definition of a nerd. I'm psychotic, and I do mean that word psychotic for knowledge. Just study, get as many degrees as you can, as many books you can, as many articles you can. And
yeah, by the way, you mentioned how many degrees you have?
I have 6 degrees, yes. I've written 12 books. I've written over 70 papers. So but I'm nowhere near where I should be. I'm actually failing where I should be. Yeah. So I'm.
That's some standards you have.
Yeah. It's interesting, but I've always been a nerd. Just study, and I want to acquire as much knowledge as possible because since I was a child, and I've written about this in a few articles. I want to say at least 3 articles actually. I talk about it. When I was 8 years old, I knew that there was something wrong with the world, the way the world thinks and performs. And when I was 8 years old, stayed home from school for some reason, and I was watching my favorite TV show, The Price is Right.
Yes, I know that.
Okay, the good one with Bob Barker, the old guy, the original one. Though Drew Carey I love too. He was the second host, if I remember correctly. But I was watching it, and they have this one part at the end where they spin this big-ass wheel, and it's between a dollar amount between $0 and $1, and you got to get closest to a dollar or closest to without going over. So then this one person spun it, and they got whatever, and they won the round. And then Bob Barker said something like, let's see what you would have gotten if you did a second spin. And right away, I'm 8 years old, and I didn't study system science or atmospherics or anything like that. And right away, I just knew, I said to myself, that doesn't mean anything, because when that person spins it now, it's going to be completely different than if they spun it 5 minutes ago or 5 seconds ago, because now they're of a different mindset, a different physiology. They're going to take different steps towards that spinner. They're going to take different holds towards that spinner. They're going to use different muscle mass on that spin that they would have used. So all these variables, they're called atmospherics. They create a new atmosphere that would produce an entirely different result. So I was like, how could he possibly think? And I loved Bob Barker. I was like, this guy's really goddamn smart. So I was like, how could he think that? And from that moment,
I think many people do not understand that, what you just explained, that just because you didn't do that in that exact time, that the outcome would not be the same if you've done it like 5 minutes later.
Correct.
I don't think a lot of people understand that, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, the
So-
circumstances were totally different.
Correct.
So-
Yes. So let me give you an example here. So it's the same thing as any movie that talks about future timelines. So like in Terminator 2, when they, in the end, when they talk with the black guy who's the engineer of the whole Skynet, they talk with him, and the wife of the black guy, she said something like, well, won't the future change now because we're having this conversation? So by doing anything different than something that would have been done in the past, if you're walking, maybe you would have taken 2 steps in the past. Maybe now you'll take 3 steps or 2.5 steps, or maybe you'll put more of your body weight on your right foot than you would have. So all these variables to the uneducated person, they're like, okay, who gives a shit, Dr. Herman? It's like, all right, he's going to get to the fucking wheel. Who cares? No, it really matters in systems science when you're projecting weather, when you're projecting political outcomes, when you're projecting counterterrorism, all these high-level things, these tiny variables, they all create a big trajectory. It's like when you're training in sniper school. Small change equals big results. So when you're looking at a target in your rifle scope and you're 2 miles away, a tiny change is going to produce that bullet's
10 meters
trajectory
away.
totally different. So when I was a kid, I was understanding this, and I don't know how the hell I understood it because I never studied it, but it just came to me, and I was like, how the hell could the world think so limitedly, so superficially? And I was like, I need to do what I can to try and change that.
You thought about that when you were 8.
8, yes. I was laying on my dad's bed
8.
watching
8.
Price is Right.
and you decided to do what when you were 8? Okay, I mean, I've seen this. Okay, people are limited in their thinking. What can I do?
I understood on a very low level, because I was only 8, as you said. I understood that I need to help. Not speaking on a high level, I'm not saying some dumbass thing like I'm God or any of that dumb shit, but I was saying I need to help fix this. I need to help fix how people are thinking. That's what I was thinking at 8 years old. I didn't know how. I didn't know about psychology very well, and definitely didn't know metaphysics. But I knew that I had to do something to correct people's thinking styles, their cognitive schema.
All right. So is that what holistic thinking is related to?
So holistic thinking in general is just thinking with as many spheres of influence, as many variables, as many industries, as many sectors, as many landscapes, whatever word you want to say, is possible. So the word holism it comes from the Greek for meaning whole, holistios. And it just means holistic thinking about different things from the big perspective. It doesn't necessarily mean this green energy or green peace or new age stuff, which a lot of people erroneously automatically assume with holistic. Oh, that holistic hippie shit. No, it doesn't mean that. It just means thinking on a grand scale. So my holistic vision, as I call it, I loosely call it holistic vision, and I define it as the ability to see the foundation and interconnectivity of all my atmospheres. So when I'm training cops, they're looking at different things to solve crimes faster. When I'm training lawyers, they're arguing much better. When I'm training families, the parents are child rearing, bringing up their children much better because they're seeing things on a whole. They're seeing the whole system. They're not seeing only parts of the areas, parts of the issues.
Right.
Can you bring some of the examples of that? Because I'm very interested.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean, do
let's
you
say-
have a program that you're following to different type of, for example, for cops, you're following different program, for lawyers, you're following different one, or how is it?
Sure. So my work is, because it's based in universalism, so it's based in psychology, it's universal, so I can train whatever entity, it doesn't matter what it is. Therefore, the work that I do is about 99% the same, maybe 97% the same at the lowest. The only thing I tweak is the variables, the nomenclature, the terminology, the wording of whatever target. So when I'm training cops, of course, I'm using terminology and thinking structures that they will understand. When I'm training musicians, let's say gangster rappers or chopper rappers, as it's also called.
You do train those as well?
Yes, yes. And I use chopper rap music example drills when I train cops too. And they're like, okay, why the hell are we using rap music to learn this? And I'm like, wait, hold on. This will make sense, I promise. So it's pretty much the same information, just tweaked so the target will understand and resonate with it more. But otherwise, it's the same stuff.
Right. And obviously it works since you're still getting invited to do that over and over again.
Yes, I've been doing this work for over 10 years, and I get called back to whatever entities. And, this work, it's not unique. I mean, the greatest thinkers in history have been telling people to wake up and think this way. And I say that holistic vision, I just call it holistic vision. You can call it whatever the hell you want to call it. It doesn't matter. Holistic vision is the commonality, the only commonality that history's greatest thinkers had. So, for example, the first drill I ever give in all my programs is, who are 3 of the greatest thinkers across history and why? And there's almost no wrong answer in any of my drills I ever give. So if I ask you guys right now, tell me who are 3 of the greatest thinkers across space and time.
Well, the greatest would be the Newton for sure.
Okay,
there's
so
no
Newton?
one. There's no one who's greater than Newton.
Okay.
And
Newton.
after
Why?
that, because he invented almost everything on his own. And even on the lots of the shows today, you're gonna see, and even on the lots of reels, what he did is, if someone would ask some question and he didn't know the answer, he like, okay, let me think about that. He goes home, then invents like calculus and just comes back and okay, here's the answer. After that would come, I guess, the Einstein and some maybe the Tesla.
Okay.
But the best would be the Newton for me. Yeah.
Okay, why do you say Einstein and Tesla?
I think the way you went is like based on the impact they had or something.
Could be, yeah.
But for me, like thinkers doesn't necessarily associate to that. Like I went more into, I don't know, philosophers mostly, like the old Greek guys.
Okay, no wrong
Socrates.
answer.
Yeah.
So what would you say, the 3?
I still don't know who to choose, but I don't know.
Your father first is your father. That's the correct answer.
He's more of an action guy. He's not not really a thinker. I don't know. Like that's a difficult question for me.
Okay, so when you ask this question, and I always say the same thing, you can feel free to go ask this question to your colleagues, your circles, whatever. You will always hear the same thing. So, yeah, there are a lot of greatest thinkers in a pool. You have a pool of greatest thinkers. It's not everybody across history, but there's a small pool compared to every person that's ever lived in history. And they always say the same thing. Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Einstein, Tesla, Newton, all that stuff. But when you drill down, it's always the same reason. So when I ask you about Newton, and you said Einstein, actually you answered for Einstein and Tesla, they're able to come up with new things, and you said to affect society. I'm paraphrasing, but to affect society in grand ways. Okay, well, how do you do that? You have to be able to see things that most people can't even begin to imagine. And of course, that's what you noted, you illustrated verbally about Newton. He came up with calculus, or whatever example you want to say.
Yeah, I don't know the answer. Okay, let's think how I can come up to the answer.
Exactly. So that right there, that is the commonality that history's greatest thinkers always had and always will have. They have the ability to see stuff that most people can't see. So they're able to see the foundation of whatever their arena is. If they were an expert in one field or 20 fields, like Leonardo da Vinci, it doesn't matter. They're able to see the lowest common denominator, the algorithm, the universal, the concept, whatever you want to call it, and apply it in seemingly unrelated fields. So like with Einstein, he was a master of physics, But we use his principles of physics in stock trading. I don't know if you know this. We also use it in psychology too. I don't know if you know that too. So we use all these different fields in seemingly unrelated arena. They're all unrelated. It's seemingly unrelated. So this holistic vision, or whatever you want to call it, I call it holistic vision, it gives you the ability to divorce from yourself and see the common denominator of whatever field you want to see, even if you're just a person that isn't an expert. You're just a life, person going through life, a babysitter or a single mom, single parent. I'm not saying that they're low-level people. I'm just giving examples here. And you just want to raise your child fast. You're able to divorce and say, okay, how can I do this? Wait, in this area, we do it this way. In this area, we do it this way. So then you take that information, bring it down, just like history's greatest thinkers, and apply that in novel areas, in areas that most people won't even begin to imagine. And that is the core of holistic vision. That's why you're able to train, like I said, lawyers, cops, various entities.
All right. So if I understood you correctly, in short, it would be you are teaching the different type of method, how to actually think and how to approach to the problem and see it all sorts from different angles.
You said it perfectly. That could be a commercial. Yeah, you're taking, I give a parallel of you're taking a fish out of water because before you do that, the fish thinks the water is the entire world. Then you show the fish the rest of the world. Now it has a different understanding of a new world, at least to it. And then you put the fish back down. Now it's ideating. It's coming up with ideas and solutions and seeing issues that its fellow fish can't even begin to imagine. So it's so far ahead of those other fish that they can't even possibly begin to catch up with them.
Doesn't matter if fish believed it or not, but there was another world.
Correct.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Okay. Still, now just to link it to our
lovely 9 to 5.
Our 9 to 5, yes. Can you tell us all of these degrees that you have acquired, Dr. Herman? And all this information is actually visible over the internet, right? You can actually go ahead and learn. How did getting degrees helped you compared to, let's suppose, you got that knowledge just from over the internet, but you don't have degrees?
Understood.
What could be the role of the degrees? Yeah.
The degrees is just for more impact. That's it. For me, anyway. I'm not saying that's all degrees are for. But before I got any degree, I was adamant to never get a degree. I was always a humanitarian saying, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want to do, and I'm going to be very successful, and I'm going to show people you don't need a goddamn degree. You can do whatever the hell you want. But then I came into my circles, for new friends and stuff. At that time, they were new friends. And most of them were doctors, JDs, MDs, PhDs, DBAs, EDDs, and all that. And they're like, yeah, that's fine. You can accomplish your mission, but you just get more opportunity, you get more pedigree, you get more impact if you get the degrees. Then you'll be able to go into entities that otherwise won't look at you if you don't have a degree. Whether it's right or wrong, it is what it is. So, and I fought them for years. I was like, no, fuck that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do my own thing. But eventually I was going to say came around, but if you argue for me, then you say, no, you gave in, you bastard. You caved. So I did that, and I got my first degree, associates in America. And that took me 11 years to get a 2-year degree because I kept moving out of district and stuff. But when I did that, I said, okay, forget this. I'm just going to go for everything. And then I just got 5 more degrees very quickly. And sometime before I leave this planet, I will get another doctorate. So we'll see what's in.
But yeah, I mean, it gives you an edge. For example, people have to admire and call you Dr. Herman and not Herman, okay? No one dares to call you.
No, you better not. I have turned down contracts.
So call me.
I'm very adamant about the honorific, giving people their honorific or mine. I'm like, I've turned down contracts where it's thousands of dollars because they're like, hey, Herman, how are you? I'm like, motherfucker, don't fucking I worked for my shit. So no, it's Dr. Herman.
I mean, it is a huge respect for a person who actually worked and earned that right to be called. So it's a huge sign of respect. All right. Can you tell us how you ended up here? We started from the back now.
Oh yeah, but again, like please, like in US, I know you're from Chicago, but
Yes.
like what was going on there? Then when did you start traveling so much, and why are you here? Basically,
Get out of our country. That's what they're saying.
No, stay as long as you want.
We want people like you.
Yeah.
I've always been a diehard city person, diehard Chicagoan more specifically, but I hate towns. I hate slowness. I need the energy. I need the noise. I need the people. So I've always been a diehard Chicagoan, but I've been doing this work for over 10 years when I got the doctorate. And when I got that, I just been expanding my work. Back then it was tiny, of course, because nobody knew me. And then I just got lucky, get more contracts and stuff. So then that took me across the world. In 2019, I worked in 8 countries. And then I started seeing more of the world. And I'm like, I used to be a diehard Chicagoan, a diehard U.S. person. Now I love the U.S. still, but the world is just too big. It has too many beautiful places and cultures and countries and languages and stuff. So I want to move around a lot, and I'm highly nomadic now. So to answer your question, both of your question, Tbilisi, it was just pure happenstance. In 2019, it was one of the places that I came to for work, and one of the 8 countries, and I was here for a few months, and I loved it. So then I left, and I went to wherever else. I went back to America and other countries, and then I just came here recently because I like it very much. And I'm here for a little while until I get a phone call saying, hey, go back to France or something like that. Or your favorite place, UK. UK, yes.
So you watch us. So you watch
Of course, yeah. Of course, I've seen quite a few of your shows.
That's a good remark. I don't know why people even go to that place anymore. Obviously, you've been there as well. Have you?
Technically, I've only been there to get from one plane to the other. But I had like 15 minutes to run through the goddamn airport. But one of my colleagues, he's one of the guys that, one of my colleagues has 7 degrees. So my 6 is nothing. But my one colleague has
Is
9.
that the Oxford guy you mentioned before?
No. The Oxford guy is a Chicagoan. And I think he's like 65, 70 years old now. And he has 5 masters, 1 from Harvard. And his doctorate is, his PhD is from Oxford. And he has 5, 6, 7 degrees. But this one guy, he has 9 degrees, and he's from the UK. So he always invited me to his house, and I haven't gone yet.
I guess after several degrees, it's like a disease. You need to get more and more.
Yeah, I mean that's the vibe I'm getting. Like you're kind of
you get addicted.
It.
It's like tattoos. They say once you get your first one, you gotta be careful. You can keep getting that shit. But there's one guy that has the most that I've ever come across, and he has. I want to say 30 honorary doctorates. He's got his regular PhD, but 30 honorary doctorates, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm like nothing compared to him.
I mean, you really make it sound like a sport, getting all these degrees.
It is for us.
But also, like in your area, for example, I can tell that it gives a certain status. Like it's a valuable thing to have, like many degrees. It basically you're selling your expertise better. While like we've had some guests that say that okay, uni is a waste of money and waste of energy.
Yeah.
Which is partially true, but like we also talk about this, the importance of the value of network you get once being there. What about in your area? Like, does it happen? Like, are most of your friends from your time in this, education systems, like, do you guys still work as a team or something? Like, do you have this network that you're using all the time?
Have you met president?
No, I haven't. I haven't met any presidents yet. I don't really give a shit. So, I mean, if I do, that's fine. But I really
their
don't
loss.
care.
Yeah,
it's their loss. Yeah, their loss. I'm so apolitical. I don't even vote. Never have voted. Never will. I don't believe in the political system. I know some people may comment about that. I don't give a shit. So
cares?
yeah, money rules the planet. So it's whoever's going to win is going to win, whether you like it or not. So I'm going to stop there. We don't talk politics.
No, feel free to express yourself.
No, I don't talk politics. But to answer your question, most of I hear what you're saying, and I believe, unfortunately, I believe in the argument now that university may be a waste of time. And unfortunately, for many universities, it is true. You just have to really know how to capitalize on that degree more than you did 20 years ago, or maybe even 15 years ago. But yeah, if you can be successful without a university, I would definitely say go for it. And I hesitate saying that, as you can see in my face, because I'm all for degrees. I'm telling people, get your degree, get your degree. But if you master the ability to get your degree and capitalize in it so you could pay back the student loans and be positive in your bank account, then yeah, you want to do that. To answer your question with my people, yeah, we're from the older era where we're very tight. We believe in the university system and we do help each other. I don't do any paid advertising. All my work is through word of mouth. We help each other. Yeah,
that's a big thing. We
believe in no contracts. We have so much faith in each other that we say, okay, Dr. Chandra, one of the guys that I've worked with for many years, been very close with for about 18 years now. He and I have worked a lot together, and we say, okay, you don't even have to ask me. Just go and talk with your entities. Say, Dr. Chandra will do this. Or he says, yeah, Dr. Herman will do this. We just say, here's a handshake. That's our contract. So we're very close. We believe in that, and we just believe in helping each other. And that is our fortune in our networking 20 years ago or 15 years ago. So we build up a very tight circle. But now, if you just go to the university and you're not a master in networking and communication and commanding a room when you enter that room, you probably don't want to do it. It's not worth it.
That's a very good point. I was curious, you mentioned something about you weren't smart enough to get into Harvard, but did they publish their book?
You're being nice.
How did that happen?
You're being nice. I actually say I was too stupid to get into Harvard, but I was smart enough to be published by them. So yeah, I never applied to Harvard for whatever dumbass reason. So maybe I should apply to it for my other doctorate. But I was fortunate where the guy that I told you about, the guy who has 30 honorary doctorates, I think it's 30 honorary doctorates, something like that, something ridiculous. So he was on Twitter one day when I had social media a long time ago. I can't stand social media, so I deleted all my stuff years ago. And he was on Twitter and he said something like, hey, Harvard is expecting, looking for papers and some shit like that. So I was like, oh my God. And it's Dr. Henry Louis Gates. And he Jr. And I went to the website and I wrote my paper and stuff like that, and they had a lot of people, so then they accepted mine. So I'm Harvard published writer, not Harvard published author, because it wasn't a book, it was a paper. But yeah, it was published by Harvard. So
got it.
I love that. And then when I worked in Boston in 2019 with those eight countries, I went to Harvard and I was like, oh, this is beautiful. And one of my colleagues that I taught at the university with, he and I taught a class, the science of religion we taught. And one of his masters, the guy that has 5 masters, he's from Harvard as well. So,
but he's no one compared to you. You have 6.
No, now he has 7. He has 5 masters and 1 PhD from Oxford. So he kills me now. From Oxford, you're like, okay, you got me.
It sounds like in your community, it's like you guys really rank each other with this.
Oh yeah,
who has however many degrees.
Yeah, we're like stupid kids with that. Yeah,
like internal hierarchy of
whoever has most degrees.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's nice.
True. What is that?
I don't know. It was here when I sat down. So this is the tarot. So let me be clear. I do not believe in tarot. I believe in science. I'm an academic. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not insulting people who believe in tarot. Please understand, I'm not doing that. I just don't believe in it. However, tarot is one of the best tools I've ever come across to help people psychologically speaking. Not clinical. I'm not a clinician. I'm not a medical doctor. Nothing I ever say is medical advice, all that legal crap. But it's the best psychological tool I've ever come across to help people change how they're thinking and see how they're thinking so they can change. So tarot has a lot of different tools. And actually, it was either my 6th or my 7th book I wrote is an entire workbook on using the tarot to change your psychology.
And this is something that you came up that I can use tarot in this way, or you saw it?
No, I didn't come up with it. So like the holistic vision, I didn't come up with it, but I'm the most known for it. So I'm the most known for it as far as I know with what I call psychological tarot. So it's non-clinical, non-medical, non-psychological tactics that are used to help you.
Okay, can you tell us how it can?
Can you demonstrate? Like,
Yes.
Maybe help us.
I don't know how to use it. I was just hoping you wouldn't ask me. No, there are many drills. So one of them is the Rorschach test. So, not everyone. Many people know what the Rorschach test is.
Right.
Most of them don't know what the name is. So it's basically when you see on television or you see in the movie when someone holds up a card, a psychiatrist holds up a card and says, hey, what do you see here? Oh, I see a cat.
Oh,
what do you
I know
see
what you
here
mean,
in this one? Here, let me change it. What do you see here? I see a killer clown with an axe killing someone. Okay, what do you see here? I see a dinosaur. So one of the ways that you can use tarot as a Rorschach test is, and you can use anything as a Rorschach test. You can use a goddamn table. You can use leaves outside. You can use stones. It doesn't matter what the illustration is. It just needs to invoke some kind of answer from your target. So when I use it as a Rorschach test, I say I'll use like 10 cards, usually 10, sometimes 20. And I'll say, okay, Rezi or Levon, what do you see here? What do you see here? So you're telling me, I'm writing this down, and I'm telling you, tell me in one word, what do you see? So let's give an example here. So what do you two see here in one word?
Can we show it to the camera as well?
In just one
which
word?
Is it that camera?
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
I think it's visible
Okay.
now. All right.
Yeah, one word. What would you say? And nothing superficial. Okay, what, woman? you said?
Woman, yeah.
Woman, okay.
If it's just one word.
And there's no wrong answer.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like the first thing that comes to mind is woman as well, but
Woman, okay.
But I'm just trying to think
Differentiate.
there's something else to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, is it allowed to think, or should it be fast?
Well, I'm being nice to you guys. Usually, because
Thank
it's
you.
your show. Usually, it's
Okay,
like,
I'm
okay,
just
come on,
gonna
let's
go
go.
ahead and
Okay,
say woman.
dumbass, let's go. You're way too slow. I
mean,
can tell
woman
you
just
only have a
because-
master's degree.
So it's a woman because she's wearing a dress.
Okay.
Obviously, she doesn't look like a.
There you go. Well,
Or maybe I can say a transgender.
there you go. Yeah, want to be PC
I
on
don't want
this
to be
show.
canceled
was
though.
No, we don't
lot
give a
of
shit about
pressure.
PC. Okay.
So good.
And this, all right, so this one here, let's see. Which camera is it? This one? I guess it's
yeah,
that one.
that one.
Okay. So
Okay,
which one would you?
word
So you
for
go first this time.
And emo, like a,
Emo? What's
yeah, like a, emo is
Emoticon?
No, like
No,
we call it like
how to explain?
now
I don't
I'm
even know
learning
if it's any-
something.
like when teenagers do this heavy metal stuff, like they wear in a certain way.
Heavy metal? Okay.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I mean,
like
it's
a
short
subs-
from emotional people, like emos.
Empaths? Like people who...
I have no idea,
No,
honestly.
no,
I think
okay.
we use the term incorrectly in
I
Georgia.
don't even know
Okay.
how to correctly explain that.
Emo. I will
But
have
basically,
to look that up.
somebody who is trying to dress in a heavy metal kind of way, like
Okay.
that's
Okay, heavy metal way. Okay.
I see
I see dead people.
swords.
Swords. Okay, so emo swords. Okay. All right, and then let's just do one more here. So we got this card.
okay.
All right, so what would you say first?
Clown.
It has to be one word.
Yes.
Yeah, swords is just plural, but it's one.
Black.
That's fine. Yeah.
Black as a race, like that
Black.
comes to mind. Yeah.
Okay, so clown. So we got woman,
Uh-huh.
emo, and
Sword.
swords, plural, which is still one
I
word.
want to change it as das, but okay.
Too late. You can't change it. And you said black, and you said clown.
Yeah,
Black
I went
as
with
in
clown.
race.
Yeah.
Okay.
Safe
so,
answer. I went with safe answer.
Safe answer, yeah. So what we do here is now this is an
This is fun.
extremely all my drills are extremely deep. They're very simple, but they're deceptively simple. Deceptively simple means you think it's easy, but it's actually very complicated. So yeah, this is an extremely engaging, the tarot. That's why it's my favorite psychological tool ever. And I've looked at tarots for over 30 years.
Sorry, all these cards, all these tarots, are they similar to everyone if I buy it?
No.
So they change all the time?
Sorry, maybe I didn't
The
understand.
pictures.
Oh, no. The pictures won't change. It's not like a
they are
magic
the
deck
same
or anything.
if I buy, for example, it will be the same.
It depends on your question. This deck will be the same. If you buy the same deck, it's the same. But there are hundreds, probably even thousands of different tarots.
Okay.
So this one is my favorite deck of all 30 years I've been looking at tarot. The Deviant Moon Tarot by Patrick Valenza. I love that tarot. It's so beautifully artistic, very cubist and Picasso-esque and surrealist, like Salvador Dali too. But yeah, so all the drills are very deep. So each drill easily takes up 30 minutes right there. So we're going to do very quickly here, of course. So right here, you said all these answers. So I'm going to say right there. And please understand, this is not an intense drill. We're just doing something superficial here for the camera, for the audience here. So right now, I will say you guys are giving me very superficial answers. So we need to go deeper based on only 3 cards. I would never do 3 cards and quantify that by saying, here's your psychology report. Sorry.
Okay.
Here's your psychology report. But in this instance,
just to
you guys
simplify it.
are showing me basically the only answer that has a little bit of depth is emo. A little bit of depth. And why does that, I want to say, why does that matter? But this is kind of a superficial session. So it kind of matters.
Because it's not visible on the surface level?
Yes. But more importantly, me as the consultant, as the outsider, as the psychological expert, I'm an expert in psychological systems and universal systems and interconnected holistic systems. That's a long phrase, but that's my expertise. So what I notice, I don't give a shit for your words. I don't care what you say.
Oh, thank you.
You passed. Thank God. What I care about is looking at your body and looking at your cognition, your physical body, and looking at your cognition, which is not your physical body, how you strained to come up with that. How deep did you go? So it's very interesting that I deliberately, on this second round, I said, you go first. Because the first time you answered, Rezi went first.
Yeah,
and
I
you
was
were
influenced,
unable
kind of.
to get away from that bias. So he
Yeah.
was able to prime you, in psychology it's called priming, very well, which is not very good. Because that, again, please understand, this is very superficial. So that says that, at least in this state, I don't know how you'll be tomorrow or how you were yesterday, but in this state, you're not functioning properly cognitively, which you said at the outset of this story that you had fun last night. Yeah. But you divorced yourself. You divorced yourself from the atmosphere and you said, wait, let me think now. That's why I forced this upon you first, so you can get away from Rezi's primal priming. So, and you stopped and you paused and you thought a little bit deeper. So that tells me that if given the opportunity to divorce from external variables, you can think a little bit differently. Now, again, please, this is very superficial.
You don't have to.
But in the superficial atmosphere,
Yeah.
this shows me very quickly where your mind is and how you're able to navigate in this arena. But even though this is superficial, this is exactly how all the shit works with personality tests, which are crap, by the way. And the goddamn companies, they need to stop doing that dumb shit, that dipshittery, as it's called. It doesn't show any fucking thing. So don't get me started. So all this gauging that I'm doing is how the corporations gauge you, is how the universities gauge you when you try to go overseas or go into the universities here in Georgia, how they accept students, whether you like it or not. They're gauging you superficially. They're gauging you by your essay. They're gauging you by this one IQ test or whatever. So they're able to, in many instances, understand how you're going to perform with this team or how you're going to perform with this homework assignment or this university atmosphere, and they approve you or deny you. So if you're not good at these tactics, at these engagements, at commanding these things, so you're like, let's go at it, let's do this IQ test, let's do this behavior interview, you're going to fail. And it's going to be projected very quickly by someone who either is at my caliber and hired by them to judge you and fire you from your job that you're at because they're going in a different way, or let you into the university or let you into the company, or someone who's not as educated as me, but they still know their shit. They still know to hire you or fire you.
Okay, so the test that companies are providing, it's kind of like still putting you in one box.
Right.
But this type of test gives you a whole world just to understand how someone might think. Okay, that's really interesting.
Right.
If I understand correctly, it's more about like you're just trying to see how people think when you're showing this. And you're trying to get some tells from them.
Correct.
And then based on that, then you conclude something, right?
Correct. That's exactly my work. So my whole persona, my whole character, my whole work is all about getting information from my target, whether it's one person or a group of people, whatever, and then translating that information back to them so they can see how they're performing, how they're thinking, how they're doing whatever the hell they want to do. So then they can divorce from that moment. I give them the blueprint of how to further divorce from themselves so they could see how they're thinking when I'm not there. They can leave me as fast as possible so they could see these variables, these things, and then continue bettering themselves and improving upon their thinking. So you said it perfectly. I'm here to take information from you as deceptively as possible and then show it to you and then show you how to change it. And I say deceptively only because my work is drowning in deception because I'm going against your subconscious. So if I tell you,
like
hey, I'm going to do this.
Trick someone as well.
Of course. Yeah. If I tell you exactly what I'm going to do, your subconscious mind is going to put up walls. You're not going to let me in. So I'm going to do stuff very weird where you don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah, well, you'll never know where you're going with these questions.
Exactly, yeah. So a lot of times in a session, I'll ask in all my sessions, I'll ask a lot of weird shit. What's your favorite donut? What would you do if you're walking down the street and you saw a penguin, racing against you or something like that? All these different things. People are like, okay, Dr. Herman, what the hell are you doing? You don't know what the hell I'm doing. But at the end, I tell you very clearly, even if you're not educated, you didn't graduate secondary school or high school, as we say in America, you still know what the hell I'm talking about. It's very deep concepts, but you can apply these things immediately from day one, no exaggeration, and go ahead and start changing things.
Just remembered something. Do you know what is the purpose of those type of tests where they ask you if you were an animal, which animal would you be and why, and like what are they trying to get out? I remember like at the uni, like one of the things that I had to do for the application, I had to record a video where I would explain that kind of stuff.
Understood.
Like if I was an animal, what animal would I be and why?
Understood. Like so. Yeah, I do know.
And why is the tricky answer.
Are they
question
trying
there,
also
yeah.
to kind of catch
Of
the
course.
thinking process or something?
Of
Is
course,
that the game? Or?
Of course. The answer, you said it very well right now. Why is the tricky part? Why is the important part?
Yeah.
It's the same thing as any drill that I or any psychological expert gives you. We don't give a shit what the answer is. We care what's behind the answer. In linguistics, it's called pragmatics. You care more about the reasoning behind the message. So you said swords and you said emo. I don't care what that word is that you said. I want to know what's behind it.
Yeah.
Now, I don't ask you in this Rorschach test, I don't ask you, why'd you say that? I glean that, I gauge that, I deduce that on my own by getting the 10 answers or the 20 answers, and I say to myself, while I'm looking at this for 1 minute or 2 minutes after you're done with the 10 or 20 cards, okay, he said this, this, and this, this. That means he's in this state. That means he thinks this. That means he's limited in this area. So I'm deducing, I'm gauging the why on my own. But to answer your question, it's the same just like the Rorschach test. They don't care what the animal is for the most part. They care more about why. So, okay, I am more of a wolf. Ooh, that's a tough alpha type animal. A wolf is always associated with an alpha state. Okay. So why? Well, it's because I like to lead. I like to lead the pack, or I like to, whatever the hell your answer is. Okay, that tells me that this guy may be smart, but he's very narcissistic, or he's very power hungry, or whatever. So yeah, I hope you did properly in the video, which I imagine you did.
Yeah.
It's a pretty easy understanding of what the hell the exercise is really for. It's really to see what you're about. Now, that's my first answer.
I remember what I answered, to be honest.
Well, the answer of the animal doesn't matter as long as you said the good reasoning behind it. Was that good?
Yeah, I think so. Like,
Okay.
I told them like I would be dog.
Okay.
But
Because you're loyal.
yeah, like loyal to my like
To your owner.
to owner.
Your master.
My
To
master.
Resi.
But I also said it. But I would go. I also like to go crazy and play with other dogs sometimes. Like when I see other dogs, I like to go crazy. Something like
Okay.
this. That was my explanation.
I think that's interesting.
What would it tell you?
Well, it tells me a good amount, but it will tell me more, and it will tell both of you more with you answering this next question. So I'm going to force an answer upon you. I heard what you said about the dog. You tell me how you are like a mouse.
Ooh.
You have no choice whether you are or not. Just tell me how you are.
How am I close to mouse or mouse?
Like you said, you're closest to being
Yeah,
a
okay.
dog.
How
So
am I
how
close to
now I'm
mouse?
forcing upon
Yeah.
you.
Let me think about that. Mouse in my mind is associated with something that like they're sneaky, so they're
No,
kind of
that's a rat, not mouse.
It's not no wrong answer. See, he's trying to prime you again. See, he's trying to get in on
no
you.
mouse, rat, whatever. I mean,
No, mouse and rat are totally different things.
still,
This is a whole nother answer that I won't go into that I really want to jump on
Okay,
you
so
with.
how would I be?
Yeah, no, I'm ruining.
I didn't say rat, goddammit. Listen to the question.
I'm sorry.
This right here
I'm
is a
sorry.
failure in communication. Fire this guy.
Let me think about
No,
that.
I'm
for a
ruining
second.
it.
So
I
how
had
am
to
I
jump.
close to
I just
mouse? Oh, man, that's a.
Keep thinking, but this right here is a
Maybe because
great
I like-
example of how these drills really stop you and force you to wait. How do I answer that? Deceptively simple.
So I eat cheese when no one's watching.
Okay,
During
so
the
you're
night.
a thief. Okay,
Yeah, so
got a
maybe.
criminal over here.
That's the only thing that comes to my mind. How am I close to mouse? But like maybe I'm doing like mouse is kind of taking other people's, like they live in the basement of somewhere that's not their place, and they eat other people's food. Like that. That's how what mouse is for me.
Okay.
So I don't really relate myself to mouse in that regard.
But I'm forcing you.
Okay.
So you have to.
Yeah, that would be like eating somebody else's cheese when no one's watching. Like that would be the only thing that, like, if I'm forced to be mouse, like that.
Yes, and you are in this case. Okay, so this right here can be 30 minutes long, and it should be 30 minutes long. Because these drills are very intense. They're very in-depth, very invasive, too. They really go in there and beat the
let's
shit
keep
out
going.
of you.
It's fine. I think we have time.
Okay, so...
like we can cut the boring stuff out.
Sure,
like
sure. So this does a few things. So I forced something upon you because I want to make you uncomfortable. My work... I'm failing as an expert if I don't make you uncomfortable at some point. It's not to be a dickhead. It's to go ahead and make you see things that you otherwise will not see in your circles. No one's going to present this information to you. So a few reasons why I said that. To answer your question, why they ask you, okay, if you were an animal, what is it and why? They're looking at the why. They don't care of the what. Also, they care of the what a little bit. Sorry, I said they don't care of the what. They don't care as much of the what. They care a little bit because the what is your initial persona. Typically, there's always exceptions with any generality. Typically, when you say something that represents you, it's going to be the core of yourself, your first answer. So you're really going to identify more with a dog than an elephant or a hippo. So it shows them, okay, what kind of person is more related to an animal of a dog. Now it shows me also, how do you make yourself relatable to something that you otherwise are not relatable to? So why do I give a shit? Well, if I'm an employer or I am an advisor to the universities, or I'm the consultant for the employer, and I'm in on many interviews, and they say, Dr. Herman, should we hire this person or not? And many times I say, no, run away. Because I'm going to say, okay, this guy, he said dog, but he was really uncomfortable when you forced a situation upon him to be known as a mouse. But he still somewhat came through. Not greatly, because your answers, and I'll explain that in my third answer. Answers.
I'm very curious about that in terms of like hiring someone and making them, force them to assimilate with this. Would that be interpreted as okay, so he associates himself with a dog, but he didn't feel very comfortable being associated with mouse. So would that mean in a way that, okay, yeah, he might not like to do this, some type of jobs that I might give him, something of more demeaning kind of jobs? Can that be interpreted? Because that's what I was thinking.
Understood. So I'm a Socratic teacher. Socratic teachers like Socrates, Socrates would always pull the answer out of the student, make himself gauge the answer. I'm going to do that through Resi. Let's get Resi involved here. So you answer that question. So if you heard the question, he said, do you pose the question, do I, as the psychological expert, pose the question to the candidate, in this case to Levon, of course, that, hey, you're a mouse, tell me how you're related to a goddamn mouse. And he's uncomfortable and he's forced himself to do that. Do I make him do that so I know if he's going to be able to either be comfortable and perform or not be comfortable, but still perform in an area where he's uncomfortable? Would you say that that's the reason why I gave him that question?
It could be deep. Well, it's still like really top-reaching because it's not a rocket science, what we are speaking here right now. But certainly it can give you some answers because he started to think and he assimilated in some parts. What I was thinking, I mean, if I was a mouse, how would I assimilate this? I have two eyes, and that's the only thing I thought of.
No wrong answer.
But he started to say like, okay, I'm like stealing some parts and living. I just wanted to say some things while he was answering, such as he lives in some other people's places. Do mouses have even places? And what do you mean, like they live in someone else's place? They are occupying.
Jared, like, really,
yeah, but
that's what I was.
Welcome to the roast
they
of
are occupying.
Levon
It's
here
not that-
with Dr. Herman and
It's
Resi.
not that there is like a mouse who has a property and okay, I live like here. So it was really interesting answer.
Yes.
And I would really continue.
So
to
you would
have
go like
another
in a simpler way,
another
like, we have
sessions.
few
No,
eyes?
I mean, if I was Dr. Herman, I would really
I-
eager to continue the session with you. Because it was really interesting how you interpret it
I
that
was
way.
looking
I have
for-
no idea.
Yeah.
I would not think of that way how you interpret it.
I think I was trying too hard to give you an insight.
Maybe,
like,
but that was
yeah.
like really interesting answer.
Either way, you may have been, but that doesn't matter in this sense. Either way, I was putting you in an uncomfortable position that you couldn't possibly have rehearsed. Well, technically anything's possible, but most likely you did not rehearse anything even close to this kind of situation, some kind of scenario. So I want to see where you're uncomfortable. And you're both correct. That's exactly why I want to see if you're going to be someone who, of course, there's no certainty, but there's a good chance that you're going to be able to still pull through in a situation where you're uncomfortable. And I want to say again, remember, with any psychological session, non-medical, non-clinical, psychological session, 1 question, 2 questions, 3 questions are very superficial. But in a session with me where it's a minimum of 2 hours, always, it's much deeper. It's going to be, 20 different drills, maybe even
definitely using
22
your
different
services.
drills, maybe even 22 different drills. So you're like, holy shit, now I know how I think. With that said, though, I will say the caveat of anything, even if it's superficial, you can work with it and you have to work with it because life is superficial, whether you like it or not. Like the cliche, I don't like cliches, but just to use a cliche, don't judge a book by its cover. Every fucking human judges a book by its cover. It's what it is. I don't give a shit if you like it. If you're a baby little bitch, be like, oh, you shouldn't do that. I don't give a shit. It's how the world works. Yeah. It is what it is. So you can still perform on those variables with superficiality. You do have to perform with superficiality. That's just how the world works. And with this superficial variables, this very quick Rorschach test, this very quick behavioral interview question that we did, you have to get the best of what you can get, the best of the crap, like I said. And then the last thing I want to say regarding that, I can keep going, but last thing I want to say is me as a universal, interconnected, holistic systems expert, I want to see much more than the regular psychological experts see and the hiring experts see in HR. I want to see, is your mind interconnected? Because if you're interconnected, you are instant hire for me. I don't give a shit if I'm the consultant for Google, Fortune 100, Lockheed Martin, whatever. I hire this guy, don't even think about it. Because if I hear you say something that's interconnected, that tells me that you're a holistic thinker, you think holistically from this angle, this angle, this angle, at the same fucking time, you are in. If I hear something like, I'm a dog because of this, and this. And here's the crossover. Dogs are really good with herding sheep. You see that? You went from...
you would hire that person, right?
Yeah, exactly. I would say hire them right now. Because you're able... And it's not that you just said the sentence, of course I'm going to get deeper, I'm going to dig deeper, You say something like, oh, dogs are able to herd sheep. Dogs are also lifesavers, like St. Bernards. I don't know if you know, in the cartoons, they had the little barrels and the stuff like that, but they were actually used to help people. Also, they're seeing eye dogs for blind people. So what are we doing here? I'm listening to you if you were to say this, your dog that helps dogs, of course, you're the leader of the pack, as the cliche is. You also are an entity, a dog, that helps herd other animals, sheep. You're also an entity that herds other species, humans. So you're all over the place. So right there, at least in that moment, again, I will ask you more questions to solidify, and it wasn't just a happenstance answer. But it shows me you're thinking across spectrums, you're thinking across landscapes, which is exactly how history's greatest thinkers thought, across different perspectives.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Dr. Herman, thank you so much for this free
Wait, free? I thought you were going to pay me.
For sure.
You don't do contracts. We established that.
Yes, just a handshake. Damn it.
Well, one day when we grow big, that's going to be your payment, You're going to be huge.
There you go.
Anyways, thank you so much. I can go I would go for hours. It's just I'm really, really fucking sleepy today, and I don't want to, ruin this experience for everyone.
Up the show.
Yeah, and I apologize for this, guys. Like I'm not myself tonight, and even the shaved face. I hope you recognize me. So.
Yeah, that was really, really interesting. Thanks for coming, Dr. Herman, and we really would like to continue this. As much as it's possible, but unfortunately, we are capped.
Yeah.
And
I mean, if you're gonna be for the foreseeable future in Georgia, for sure we need to plan another one.
Yeah, we can do part 2.
Part 2.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
part 2.
Already paid.
With the trio. God damn it. Where's the contracts?
Please do the call to action to our listeners, and that's it, I guess.
What to say? I mean, we are again growing. Subscribe to us. Watch it. This was really interesting. I don't know if next guest will be as much as interesting as this one was, but we sure hope so. So
yeah, the interesting people have a way of finding us, which is really cool. And thank you for that. But I don't think it was you, by the way. But someone recommended that, okay, you really need to get in touch with this guy.
Nice. Thank you.
That's nice.
Yeah, and thank you for having me. I appreciate it to both of you.
Sure.
Anytime.
Likewise.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
What? Oh, okay. The usual stuff
Thank
that we
you.
do.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.